Good morning and welcome to our science class. This is Miss Cruz speaking. Today it's Monday. I know everybody loves Mondays. I just kidding. Today it's Monday and it's April 27. The year is 2020. Now, if you have your science book, please take it out. Your notebook, your pencil, and all the material that you will probably need for this class. Now we are working on Unit 1. What will happen if we don't protect our ecosystem? And today we're going to talk about page number 40. Please go to page 40 and get ready for the class. Page number 2, biotic and abiotic factors. There is an enormous variety of living things on Earth. Ecosystems are controlled by factors that can affect biodiversity. The two factors that we have right here are biotic factors. Now, when we talk about biotic factors, we are talking about all living things within a ecosystem that depend on one another in some way. Some biotic factors provide shelter or habitat to living things. The other factor that we have, it's abiotic factors. Now, these are non-living components that support an ecosystem. Abiotic factors are extremely important because they provide the necessary elements for organisms to grow, develop, and reproduce. Do you notice the difference between biotic factors and abiotic factors? Well, the difference is very simple. Biotic factors are all living things in an ecosystem. All living things. It means that they can breathe, that they can grow, that they can eat, that they can move. But abiotic factors are non-living components, living and non-living components. In the next page, I'm going to give you some examples of biotic factors and abiotic factors. Okay? Now, continue paying attention. Listen to the pronunciation and please make sure that you read with me all of this information. It's very important. Remember, maintain focus. Stay with me in this video and continue paying attention. Continue talking about biotic and abiotic factors. Now, an ecosystem includes the living things interacting in an area along with the non-living environments. So, an ecosystem is formed by living things and non-living things living in the same environment. Now, biotic factors describe of living components of an ecosystem, including various organisms. Abiotic factors are the non-living components of an ecosystem, such as precipitation, oxygen, and sunlight. So, an ecosystem is formed by living things and non-living things. In another word, biotic factors and abiotic factors. And an examples that we have right here is going to help you to have a better result of what is a biotic factor and what is a abiotic factors. Okay, let's read the examples that we have here. Biotic factors: you have a parrot, monkey, jaguar, butterfly, a snake, trees, plants, and flowers. Okay, it means that all these things that are mentioned here under biotic factors, it means that all these things are living things, animals and plants. Now let's move to the next column. It's abiotic factors. You have water, you have light, you have air, soil, clouds, precipitation, oxygen, and sunlight. Do you notice the difference between the examples? Okay, water, it's no living thing because it cannot breathe, it cannot eat, it cannot grow. That's why abiotic factors are non-living things. Okay, I just want to make sure if you notice the difference, if you can identify a biotic factor or an abiotic factors. Okay, so we are going to continue talking about this information in the next page. Page number 4. Why is biodiversity important? It's a question, and everybody needs to have an answer for this question. Why is biodiversity important? What is the definition? Let's review what is the definition of biodiversity. Biodiversity, it's the term used to describe the variety of life forms found on Earth. Let me read it one more time for you. Biodiversity, it's the term used to describe the variety of life forms found on Earth. Now we are going to talk about a place. Look the map that you have at the bottom of your page. The green country that you have right there, it's Madagascar. Today we are going to talk about Madagascar biodiversity. Now, it's an island, and it is the 4th largest island in the world and the place with the richest biodiversity. That's why Madagascar is important, because it is the place with the richest biodiversity. It means that you can find almost all the variety of life form. You can find it. You can find it right here in Madagascar. As a matter of fact, about 80% of the species in Madagascar cannot be found anywhere else in the world. That's why this is the richest place with biodiversity species. Now, an ancient type of agriculture practice called TV has led to the destruction of an estimated 90% of the Iceland forest. I mean, this is terrible. How can humans beings are able to destroy their environment? And when we talk about environment, we are talking about biodiversity. Now, let's talk about TV. What is TV? Okay, TV, I did my research, and TV, it's a traditional farming method to clear forests for farming land. It means that they are going to destroy the forest to be able to farming the land, to be able to cultivate rice and other grains. So they destroy an estimate of 90% of the Iceland forest because they want to do this TV. They want to follow their traditions and they want to use this method of farming. Now, scientists estimate that 1 and 2% of the forest continue to be destroyed every year. They also estimate that 32 different types of lemur inhabit the island, and forestry provides the lemurs and other animals with shelters and food. Okay, so what is happening here is that some of the species of animals are not living, or probably they disappear from these islands because they don't have shelters and they don't have food. And one of the examples is the lemur, because the forest has been destroyed and continue to be destroyed. All of these species of animals and plants are not in this island anymore. And humans, it's still destroyed the forest every year, 1 or 2%. So this is very hard to believe, but it's the truth, and human is destroying their environment. So we need to make conscious, and we have to be conscious what is happening in the world and why the humans are being so mean to the planet. Please take good care of your planet, take good care of your environment, and save the biodiversity in your environment, in your ecosystem. Make sure that you protect the animals, make sure that you protect the plants, and make sure that you protect your planet. Page number 5, The 5 Kingdoms of Light. That's the title for this page. Now, let's talk about at the beginning when scientists used to classify things as animals or plants. That's the only 2 categories that we have. Then they discovered that these 2 categories were not enough to express the variety of life form found on Earth, or what is called biodiversity. Later, more evidence became available and scientists discovered that cells were different. Scientists continue to discover more living things and come up with the 5 kingdoms of life. Scientists place bacteria in the prokaryotic classification. Now, what is prokaryotic? It's the group of living things with only one cell, which doesn't have a nucleus. And the other is going to be the Eukaryote are the groups of living things formed by at least one cell with a nucleus. You have to remember this, okay? Now, look what you have in your screen. And you have additional information on page 39. The first kingdom that you have is Animalia. Animalia. In Animalia, it's multicellular. Multicellular, it means that have more than 2 cells. And here you have the koala as an example. You have the fish, you have the monkey, and you have the snake. The next kingdom is the plantae. And the plantae, it's a multicellular. It's multicellular, remember. It have more than 2 cells. And the examples that you have are plants, flowers, tree, grass. The next kingdom is fungi. Fungi, it's multicellular. Multicellular. And you have some samples, mushrooms and molds. And then you have the protista. The protista, it's mostly unicellular. A few are multicellular and the complex cell structure with nucleus. And what you have right here as an example is going to be the amoeba and the paramecia. Those are the 2 examples that I can mention right now. The paramecia and the amoeba. And the last one that you have is going to be the prokaryote. And for prokaryote, you have bacteria. You have the bacteria. And this is unicellular, a simple cell structure with no nucleus. So, the prokaryote, it's unicellular, and the example, it's the bacteria. Then the Animalia, the plantae, the fungi, and the protista, these are eukaryote. And the last one is prokaryote. It means that have only one cellular, and the rest, it's multicellular. I hope that you understand this part. And most of the part that you need to focus is if it's unicellular or multicellular, and the examples that you have. So I think this is important that you remember and that you continue listening and study the 5 kingdoms of light. Page number 6. Before I explain the homework, I would like to do a review for you. At the beginning of the video, we talk about biotic factors and abiotic factors. The difference between the 2 of them is that biotic factors are living things and abiotic factors are non-living things. Then in the next page, we have some sample of biotic and abiotic factors. In the next page, we have a question. Why is biodiversity important? And we talk about the Madagascar Island and how this island and how people from this island destroy the 90% of their forests. In page number 5, we talk about the 5 kingdoms of light and how these 5 kingdoms are unicellular or multicellular. And the 5 kingdoms that I mentioned in this video were Animalian, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, and the last one is Prokaryotic. Okay? I know it's hard to remember some of this word, but you need to be familiar with them, and you need to handle an example for each one. For example, Animalia. What is going to be an example of an Animalian? It's going to be a koala. Koala. For planting, it's going to be flowers, plants, grass. For fungi, it's going to be mushroom, molds. For protista, it's going to be paramecia. And for prokaryotic, it's going to be bacteria. Now, the homework is going to be very easy. You need to study this information over and over and over until you have everything clear. And then you are going to copy page number 2 and number 3 in your notebook. And finally, you are going to complete the worksheet that is going to be attached in your WhatsApp. If you have any question, you can give me a call or send me a WhatsApp with your questions. And like I always say, please pray to Jesus every day. Ask for protection for you and your family. Maintain healthy. Eat healthy food, fruits, vegetables. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.